What's going on, folks? Today, JPeeps is bringing you that 2019 Florida A&M football schedule. So today we're going to be breaking it down. We're going to be talking about players to watch, as well as answering a few questions regarding what my take is of the 2019 season and how I think they should approach the 2019 season. So without further ado, let's get into it. August 29th, road game, Central Florida. Last season, Central Florida lost the Fiesta Bowl and didn't end what they were hoping to be another undefeated season. Lost to LSU quite handily. Made a slight comeback in the end. They had already lost Mackenzie Milton at that point. Lost Mackenzie Milton in a gruesome injury against USF. And so it kind of just, it was a little bit in question and everything, a lot of questions. And we kind of saw they were a weaker team without Milton. And they still don't have Mackenzie Milton now. Brandon Wimbush transfers in for this game and for the 2019 season. And I got to honestly say, this will be the first game of the 2019 season for FAMU. I think FAMU will open the 2019 season with a loss in Orlando. But I don't know for sure. If you stick around, that might be the only loss in Orlando that they may suffer this season. Just stick around and wait and see. So you lose the first game here. The Knights are going to come in. I'm going to be real. This is probably going to be, say, a 40 to 50 point loss. You got a good quarterback like Brandon Wimbush coming in. You got UCF still has a lot of speed coming back with Adrian Killings and company. This team's still no joke. They're going to compete for the American again this year, possibly win the American this year. And so after that, you head into your bye week. So you got a bye week coming up after that. After your week 0 game, just to rest up and get the nicks and bruises out, kind of get ready for first home game, September 14th against Fort Valley State. Last year, FAMU handled Fort Valley quite handily in that game. 41-7 was the final. Still would like to have seen more touchdowns and field goals from Yahia Ali. Either way, still a win's a win. And once again, I think, honestly, Jake Gaither Classic, you're going to come out, you're going to win this game again. So I'm going to hand out another W, hand out the first W of the season right now. You're sitting pretty at 1-1. So that's another W right there. The next week, September 21st, you're honoring the 1969 team against Southern. Southern comes in. They were the favorites coming into this season by most SWAC media to compete for the SWAC title again this year with Alcorn. A lot of people got them beating Grambling again, surprisingly. Well, not surprisingly, but, well, you know what? That's the SWAC. We'll let them handle what they handle. A lot of people got them beating Grambling again this year. They come to Tallahassee for the first time since 2001. Prior to that, they met up with FAMU a lot of times in neutral site games like the MEAC SWAC Challenge. FAMU played them in Baton Rouge and beat them. FAMU just played them in Atlanta a couple times. Split that with Southern. Southern's first trip to Tallahassee. I think FAMU wins this game, but I think it's going to be due in large part to the home crowd, the strength and conditioning now under Willie Simmons with Parker Brooks handling everything, as well to the 220 quarterback club of Tallahassee donating a lot of nutrition and protein shakes and everything so that these kids can properly build muscle and maintain it throughout the season. I think that's going to be a huge catalyst, as well as the home crowd for the second home game of 6 home games this season. I think FAMU gets this game. They win it. I can't tell you how much they're going to win it by. I wouldn't say it's going to be a dominating performance like 99 or even in 97, but it's going to be a win for sure. So FAMU sits pretty at 2-2 as they head to Norfolk, Virginia for their first true road game. And the interesting part about it is this is only the first time of 3 times FAMU will have to actually just leave the state to play a football game. 3 times you leave the state. This is probably the best scenario that FAMU could have gotten. I like this a lot. So, because basically you only You've got one road game in the state of Florida. You got a neutral site game at the end of the season in Florida. The opportunities are endless. Fans can get to you either way. Home games, road games, neutral site games. It's endless. It's a win-win for the fans and for the university to generate money and bring money in. So now, Norfolk State, September 28th. This game really should have been flexed, I think, in all honesty, to ESPN. But you know ESPN and the MEAC, they just love North Carolina A&T so much that they gave A&T this home game. They gave A&T the TV spot. And so, I think FAMU wins this game. Like, again, I can't really say the margin of victory, but I think FAMU wins this game. This will be another game. FAMU moves into 3-1 on the season, heading into homecoming on October 5th against North Carolina Central. This will be North Carolina Central's first trip to Tallahassee for homecoming since 2012. Last year, FAMU dominated North Carolina Central 55-14. I kind of see it going the same way again. A lot of question marks going on at NC Central right now. I believe a new head coach they just hired as well, too. Brian Jenkins, ironically, not surprised, just got fired from North Carolina Central for domestic violence. I'm not going to go into that. But they lose Brian Jenkins as a head coach. The season hasn't even started yet. And so I think, honestly, if FAMU gets a win here again, this will be another W, a homecoming W, and I think, honestly, possibly a homecoming blowout, to be honest. So there it is. You're sitting pretty. You're 4-1 at this point as you head to Orangeburg, South Carolina, for a date with Buddy Pugh and the South Carolina State Bulldogs. Now, last year, I think, honestly, this is where the wheels kind of fell off the car as FAMU was trying to keep pushing forward to get to that Celebration Bowl bid. I think this was the team that kind of really beat FAMU up physically. And the power running game of South Carolina State kind of just overmatched this defense, and it was just one of those. It was part of that kind of that downward spiral that FAMU suffered in 2019 and 2018, where you know what, we're having trouble against this. We're not reading this right, you know. And I think that this time around, FAMU should be able to get revenge on Buddy Pugh and the Dogs. I think that this is going to really kind of signal the rise of Willie Simmons in the MEAC and making FAMU a perennial power in this conference, and kind of signal, you know, the downfall of South Carolina State. So I think FAMU gets a victory here. It's going to possibly be a close one if FAMU doesn't turn it into a track meet. If FAMU turns it into a track meet, look out. This could turn into a blowout, or it could be a one-sided affair where FAMU possibly wins the game, like a, say, 24-7 or 31-7. But either way, I think FAMU still can sneak out of Orangeburg with a victory. So at that point right now, you're 5-1, and you have North Carolina A&T coming to town for an October 19th date. The Bulldogs, the Aggies last year were upset by FAMU, 22-21. I honestly I'll be real with you, I did not think FAMU was going to win this game. I don't think a lot of people thought FAMU was going to win this game. I came on this preseason video last year and said FAMU would lose this game as part of their 7-4 season that I predicted for them last year. And quite honestly, I was wrong. A lot of people were wrong. Nobody really saw that coming. I think this time around, A&T is going to come into Tallahassee thinking, you know what, we got to get revenge. And unfortunately, I really think they're going to get their revenge. They're very upset about what happened last year in Greensboro. They're going to come to Tallahassee and I think return a favor, unfortunately. But that doesn't mean the season is lost. So I'm going to go ahead and say, you know, I think FAMU loses this one. But now we travel on the road October 26th to Morgan State. And quite honestly, they have a new head coach. I'm not going to waste my time with this one. I think FAMU wins this one as well. Not even think FAMU will win this one. This will be a beatdown in Baltimore. As well, too, the next week you come into town, you come back home against Delaware State. I think that's honestly another victory. There's a lot of questions there. Delaware State's lacking in a lot of places. I see this as a win for FAMU. And right now you're sitting pretty. You got a record of 7-2. You've only lost to Central Florida and A&T, two very good programs. And you get a bye week coming out after Delaware State. You're getting ready for your final home game with a week off to prepare, and then the week of that game, you got time to prepare still. So, November 16th against Howard, Senior Day, you're trying to get revenge again on Howard for what happened. They kind of made you have to wait a little bit longer to kind of earn that Celebration Bowl bid. And so Kaylin Newton and company comes to Tallahassee. They're replacing their head coach. They have a first-year head coach coming in. The go-go offense is really kind of, I'd say, no more. It's going to be a new name. It's going to probably be a whole new situation and everything. And quite honestly, I think FAMU can edge this one out as well. But they have to contain Kaylin Newton. They have to shut him down, make him one-dimensional. And I'd rather him be a passer, if anything, than a runner. Because like his brother, who's a good thrower of the football, I don't think Cam Newton's consistent. And I definitely don't think Kaylin Newton's a consistent thrower of the football. So I'm going to go ahead and say if FAMU can make Howard one-dimensional, force them to throw the ball versus run it, FAMU wins this game, and I think that's what's going to happen on Senior Day. So you've won 3 straight coming out of that loss against North Carolina A&T. And so now you're sitting pretty. You got an 8-2 record as you go into the Florida Classic against Bethune-Cookman. And as well, too, you've lost 8 straight to this team. Whether it had been missed assignments or whether it had been not enough men on the field in overtime, whether it had been a late game interception to seal the deal and put the final nail in the coffin, bad coaching, not kicking field goals versus going for it on 4th down, not winning the line of scrimmage, which has really been the case in all of these past 8 games in the Florida Classic. FAMU has failed to win the line of scrimmage, which, in all honesty, I think is going to be key. FAMU has to win the line of scrimmage, win those short yardage situations in order to compete and stay competitive in this game. You can't have mental relapses. And as well, too, like Willie Simmons has preached before, and it has also been promoted on a lot of the posters that we've seen for FAMU. Fight to finish. You have to finish the Florida Classic. As we've seen in the 4th quarter, Bethune-Cookman has been the team that has shown up in the 4th quarter, whereas FAMU has not. FAMU has been outscored in the 4th quarter against Bethune-Cookman multiple times in this 8-game losing streak. Something has to change there. If you win the 4th quarter of this game, more times often than not, you win the game. That's just football in general. If you win the 4th quarter, you win these games. And honestly, I have to say, unfortunately, I do not think that FAMU will win this game. With this one, it's kind of more so of a show me for me to believe. So I can't really say right now that FAMU is going to win this game. Now, if I'm proven otherwise, then you know what? I'll swallow my pride and say, you know what? Good. It's going to hurt me to have to say this, but I don't think FAMU's going to win the game. Right now, the way it looks, I don't think FAMU's going to win this game. I got to see otherwise. This game is a prove it to me type of game. Make me a believer. The past 2 years, I've said FAMU was going to win this game, and they lost. So I'm going to just, until proven otherwise, I think this is a loss as well. So with that, I got FAMU finishing 8-3 on the season. Take advantage of 2 bye weeks in the season. As well, fans take advantage of 6 home games with really 2 extra added games inside the state of Florida. Take advantage of that. Go to these games. Florida Classic starts at 3:30 this year. Let's sell out this thing. Let's pack this house. Pack the house. There should not be one empty seat in the stadium. Camping World Stadium should be to full capacity for this game. And with that, let's go ahead and get into the players to watch for this season. On offense, quarterback Ryan Stanley, 2,319 yards, 17 touchdown passes, 12 interceptions. Got to get that touchdown-interception ratio. Make the interceptions go down, get the touchdowns up. I'll honestly say, if you can get 35 touchdown passes this season at FAMU, possibly either wins one of these two games or wins both. 35 touchdown passes from Stanley gets you to possibly 3,000 yards passing on the season, and it brings up the touchdown total. As well, to lower the interception total. 12 interceptions to 17 touchdowns, way too much. As well, too, keep an eye on the freshman, the true freshman Cameron Sapp this season coming in. I think he can be a key player to watch in years to come, or even if something happens this year, could be a key player to watch. Because the NCAA has it set to where a redshirt can play 4 games and not lose his redshirt still. So we'll see. We will definitely see. At running back, I'm looking at Bishop Bonnet, Ricky Henrellis, Deshaun Smith, Bo Kendricks, and Eddie Tillman. All 5 backs are honestly guys that can take it the distance. This is going to be a back by committee type situation here. Bishop Bonnet, I can kind of see why he was a third-team pick preseason. 567 yards, 3 touchdowns. I kind of see why now. He wasn't the every down back. And then as well, too, you can kind of tell it, too, playing with injuries late in the season. Deshaun Smith, 676 rushing yards, 4 touchdowns. Got to get these numbers up. Really get the touchdown numbers up. I still think that there can be an 800-yard rusher within this offense with these amounts of backs. Bo Kendrick is a running back I'm excited to finally get to see. I think he's going to be the power back for this team. Ricky Henrellis as well, I think, is going to pick up where he left off. 260 yards rushing, 2 TDs, and as well, too, Eddie Tillman. He was limited with carries. He played late in games that were blowouts. I think, honestly, too, he can be a key player to watch for this offense. I think running back is going to kind of be a situation where we're just going to be able to pound teams away. Pound on teams, and then eventually one's going to pop loose. At receiver, I'm looking at Chad Hunter, Xavier Smith, Marcus Williams, George Webb, Azinde Ray, and David Mangio. All 6 guys, should I say, my fault, are guys that can really take it the distance. They can take the top off of defenses. They can exploit coverages. They can win one-on-one battles. The best hands out of this group, I got to say, honestly, it's a tie between Marcus Williams and Xavier Smith. Chad Hunter, another guy that 535 yards receiving, 6 touchdowns, I think was missed heavily in the Florida Classic because it was a body that Bethune-Cookman didn't have to worry about. So you know what? They just figured, hey, he's not out here. We can key on these guys now. I think if Chad Hunter had been healthy for the Florida Classic, it would have been a little bit closer, or they might have even won the game. And in all honesty, I think the good part is now with the 220 quarterback club of Tallahassee giving their $32,000 donation, it's going to pay dividends in ensuing that these types of injuries don't happen anymore, and as well can help this team play in these big games without sustaining any types of injuries and help this offense kind of take off and be what it's supposed to be. At offensive line, as well, I'm looking at Keenan Anderson and Obina and Wonko. Both players really flashed out to me at the spring game. The pass protection from them, as well as the run blocking, was just it was good. It was very much improved. I think it can get better, especially now that we're in the days of fall camps everywhere as we record this video. And I think honestly, this offensive line is going to take a major league step in production in the 2019 season. At defensive line, I'm looking at DeMontre Moore, 28 total tackles, 14 solo, 2 sacks, One touchdown that came in the Morgan State game where it was just scoop and he rolled into the end zone. I want to see more sacks. Interior defensive lineman, I want to see more sacks as well too. Jonathan Crutchfield, 35 total tackles, 19 solo, 2 sacks. Like I said, if we can get a 10-sack season out of somebody on this defensive line, we're in very, very good shape. Or honestly, if we can get like 20 sacks total from this entire defensive front, we're talking big money this time. We're talking big money if that entire front seven can get 20 sacks in a season. As well too at linebacker to close out the front seven, Derek Mayweather and Elijah Richardson. Derek Mayweather had 70 total tackles, 30 solo, 1 interception. Elijah Richardson, 75 total tackles, 75 total tackles, 35 solo. That front seven is going to be key, along with Terry Jefferson, who's another player to watch, who's a box safety, I think, has played in the box, can play in coverage, can do it all. He's kind of like the athlete back there. I think that all is key for FAMU to really be able to have success. That front seven, if they can get pressure on the quarterback, create mischief, not allow the run to get going for opposing teams, force quarterbacks to throw into tight windows and create turnovers and force fumbles, this team has a chance to be very, very good. Again, and I think they were very, very good last year. You didn't close out games as well as you could have. As well, too, also at defensive back as I continue, Andrew Hines, 54 total tackles, 27 solo, 3 interceptions. Herman Jackson, 31 total tackles, 26 solo, 1 interception, 1 forced fumble that also did go back for a touchdown against North Carolina A&T. The true freshman as he started last year, I think is going to, as he progresses, become the leader in that defensive back room for years to come. And then even too on special teams, Chris Fadul and Yahya Ali, both players to watch. Honestly, the best in the FCS, in my opinion, at what they do. 41 punts for Chris Fadul, 46.8 net yard punting. 16 punts went 50-plus yards. He had a long of 47. 17 punts landed inside the 20. But see, the thing about it, though, is 4 of those punts were blocked. 4 of his 41 punts were blocked last season. With a punter that good, you got to block for him. You have to block him, you got to protect him. Because you don't want anything to happen to that guy. He is a major league weapon, as much as people like to sleep on special teams and sleep on punters and kickers and say that's not a major league facet of the game. Special teams matters mightily. You have to protect these guys. And even Yahya Ali, 15 out of 22 on field goals, 68.2% kicking, 10 of 12 from inside 30, had a long of 47. He had 2 kicks blocked. Again, you got to protect these guys. You have to protect these guys. These are guaranteed points that you have a chance to get on the board. Can't let this type of thing happen. So with that, I'll leave you with a few questions. Might we see a 1,000-yard receiver this season? I don't think so. Especially not with... I don't think we see a 1,000-yard receiver. I don't think we see a 1,000-yard rusher this season. There's too much going on in the backfield and then as well as at receiver for there to be a 1,000-yard guy. I think we may get an 800-yard guy, though. We may get an 800-yard rusher. We may get an 800-yard passer. And I say that because we almost had an 800-yard passer or 800-yard receiver last season with Xavier Smith. He had 727 yards. I think there's a chance somebody in that receiving room gets to 800 yards this season. There's a chance that we get an 800-yard rusher. Deshaun Smith had 676 yards rushing in 2018. There's a chance that somebody here can get to 800. There's a very good chance. I think Stanley could probably have a 3,000-yard passing season. He's just got to get the touchdown total up and lower the interception total. That is crucial in as far as winning and losing games. And then even too, how do you deal with the adversity of having a bowl ban for the Celebration Bowl this season? You show up and you play. You got to show up and play in these big games. If you look at it realistically on here, you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 big games regarding in-conference and out-of-conference opponents. Southern's a rivalry. North Carolina Central's homecoming. A&T is a rival. Howard, game. That's a revenge game. Bethune-Cookman, you already know, that's a rivalry game. There's games that matter. There's things on the line this season. You got to show up and you got to play. There's a lot to still fight for. Fans are going to get behind you. Fans want these games, these big games, especially homecoming and the Classic. They're right next to each other, ironically. These two games fans want. They want those games more than anything. And even to Southern. Last time Southern came to town, they beat you. It was 2001. You got to right that wrong and win this game. There's still a lot to fight for. But with all that being said, that's going to do it for me. I'm JPeeps. If you haven't already, follow us on Instagram at Throw Flags. Follow us on Twitter at Penalty Talk. Follow us on Facebook, Penalty Talk. Hit like, share, and subscribe on YouTube at Penalty Talk. Make sure you send us the email if you want to talk with us, flagontheplaysports@gmail.com. I'm JPeeps. JC wasn't able to be in the video this year. He's going through some stuff regarding certain things I won't explain. So just, we wish him the best and everything. Check out this video as we inch closer to football season. And so stay safe. Enjoy college football season. It's going to be a fun season this year. Looking forward to seeing if, for once, we finally get this thing right. Hopefully, I realistically hope I get this wrong. Nothing's set in stone. I'm good at this. I'm not that good. Last year I predicted 7-4. They went 6-5. I was off by one game. I almost got it right. But we'll see what happens this year. Thank you so much. You guys stay safe.